No, all right. Welcome. All right, the description of this video is pretty much what we're gonna do here. So we got this Dell XPS 8300 I bought on Craigslist for like 50 bucks. It came with a GT720, DDR3, 1 gig GPU, and an Intel i7 2600 non-K. So we're gonna just see like what's the minimum amount I can throw at this thing to see if I can coax some better performance out of it, right? So a little speed run. This is not going to be a very long stream. I did confirm that the new GPU uses the exact same driver package as the old GPU. I don't know if that's like comforting or concerning. Either way. All right. So first, we're going to remove this. Okay. Oh, well, let me step back. All right. So what we're going to do? One, we're going to replace the CPU. It's just good policy. The temps aren't bad, but it does creep up like over 75 degrees running Cinebench. So let's see if we can knock that down. This is not a very high-powered CPU. It does pull like 80 watts. And then I got this kit of RAM on eBay for like $40 shipped. This is these heat sinks are beefy, like heavy. This is a Mushkin enhanced. I'm sorry, Mushkin enhanced Redline DDR3. DDR3. I think these are 1666. It's a 4x4 kit. It actually says 3x4 on it. So there's 3 of these, and then there's another one. It says 3. It says a 12 gig kit, but he must have bought 2 12 gig kits, and then he decided to part them out as 4 stick kits. So yeah, we're going to install 16 gigabyte in dual channel, dual rank configuration, and we're going to install this Gigabyte WindForce. I think this is a G1 Gaming. Is this a G1? It's too old. The stickers probably come off somewhere. It's a WindForce card. It's got the triaxial cooler, big beefy heatsink, because it's going to need it because it's in like a fairly enclosed case there. GTX 770, 2 gigs of DDR5. So we're going to double the VRAM and also like massively enhance the VRAM speed. And then so those are the 3 things we're going to do right quick. Let's see how fast we can get this done here. Let me just pull this out. I need this cable in the way here. And so first things first, let's get this little teeny baby GPU out of the way here. All right, got that. That is just. Are you my daddy? All right. And then I'm gonna repaste this CPU here. So let's take the cooler off. This is just a Dell OEM cooler. So I do believe that you can actually retrofit or refit a tower cooler or an aftermarket cooler to this board, but what you have to do is you have to completely remove the motherboard to get to the back of the motherboard and remove a back plate that's kind of like glued on to the back of the motherboard that has these posts that stick from the back of the motherboard this way, and that's what these cooler screws screw into, is those posts. So to get a sorry, I'm trying to get this fan header off of here. Fan disconnected. Okay, oh yeah, that thermal paste is dead. Jim, he's dead. Alright, so we're going to resurrect that. Boy, that is dry and crusty. I'm going to resurrect that. I'm going to swap out this RAM. Let's get this RAM out of here. Okay, so we're losing 2 mismatched sticks of DDR3. These are 4 gigabyte each. So we're gonna get rid of those and get a matching set of some nicer RAM. I don't think that this motherboard's capable of even doing the XMP settings. So yeah, whatever. Paper towels have rolled away. So let's get. It looks like the cat's been at my paper towels. A little couple of bite marks here and there. Let's get this old crusty thermal paste off of here and get that reseated and get that new RAM in there. And so the RAM upgrade is probably just going to be, well, 2 benefits. We'll have more RAM, which is not bad. I mean, going from 8 gig to 16 gig is definitely good. And then we will probably get better timings. I need to look at I don't think that these old sticks actually tell you what the timings are. So got some old crusty thermal paste sticking to the side of the IHS here. That's fine. All right. So that's out of there. Let's find a clean spot on my paper towel and get. So this is just a straight aluminum bottom. There's no copper anywhere on this heat spreader, which is, you know, kind of to be expected on an old, you know, budget friendly, well, not budget friendly, it's friendly to Dell's budget. I'm sure this computer was not super cheap to the first person who bought it. Alright, so we're just going to use the grain of rice method on the middle of the IHS. It's Intel, it's monolithic die. You don't need a bunch of, you don't need a whole bunch of thermal paste. You don't have to spread it all around the IHS. The pressure from the cooler mount is going to do that for you. So you just need a squoosh, a squoot in the middle of the IHS. That's a little bit, that's actually more than I wanted. Just a squoot in the middle right there. This is going to squish it out. It's going to be totally fine. So yeah, we're going to keep the stock cooler. We're just going to refresh the thermal paste, and we're going to get this back in here. Doing a crosshatch pattern here. So if the GPU market wasn't so ridiculous, I would not choose this GPU, like, for sure. I would definitely want a Radeon card for this, like probably RX 570 4 gig or 8 gig. But since Ethereum mining is absolutely, well, Ethereum mining and just insatiable demand from everybody else, like gamers too, it's not just, you can't just blame miners for the lack of GPUs, because gamers want these things too, and they, and you know, people who don't want to spend $1,000 on a RX 6700 XT that was supposed to have been $450, but all of the AIB cards are $1,000. So yeah, I would definitely have preferred to put like an RX 570 8 gig or 4 gig card in here. They have good performance to power consumption. That's the biggest thing about this guy, is he does this, sucks up a lot of power, and it's going to push this stock Dell power supply pretty hard. It's a 460 watt. It's a solidly built power supply. I'm not worried about it per se, but I do know that it's going to be like, this is going to be basically, on a power budget wise, the far end of what this power supply is capable of. Now the other thing I'm going to do, just to make sure, since I am evidently mixing two different kits of RAM, so I'm checking the serial numbers. So I've got 2, 4, 6, and 9. So their serial numbers end, they're contiguous, but they end in 2, 4, 6, and 9. So call me, OCD or whatever, but I definitely have found that if you're having RAM issues, making sure that you get these in the closest you can get the numbers to the same channels, the better, right? So 2 and 4 are going to go in my A channel, the ones with the black clips. Okay, so this is 4. It's going to go in the other black clip here. So not side by side, but in the same color of DIMM slot. I've had RAM kits that didn't want to boot, and then once I swapped them around and got them aligned by serial number in this configuration, they booted and worked fine. Like, they worked as intended. So we're going to keep that just like that. So 2 and 4 in the black slots, 6 and 9 in the white slots. Got our CPU cooler mounted back down. We got our RAM in there. Let me just give one more quick check for tightness on the cooler. All right, cooler's in. I'm not upgrading the, well, this is my test hard drive, so I don't have an SSD. That would be the next upgrade, was, once I get ready to sell this on and I'm not using my test hard drive, I would definitely swap out this. I would use this 500 gig for just some bulk storage. I mean, bulk, 500 gig is not the ton, but it's at least more. And then probably throw an SSD up in this 2.5 or 5.25 inch bay. They make little adapters that will secure them in there. And we're probably going to get rid of this hard drive cage, and we'll talk about that in the next video. All right, speed run. So we still got to keep pushing here. So let's get the 770 in its home, and in order to get the 770 in its home, I kind of had to do a little bit of a no-no, right? So so this card comes with 2 6-pin connectors that end off of the same wire from the power supply. So I put an adapter on one of those 6 pins to turn it into an 8-pin. So this is going to pull like as much as that wire is safely rated for, and maybe like a little bit more. So definitely no overclocking power budget headroom on this card, which is fine. I don't think the 2600 is actually capable of needing this card overclocked at 1080p low settings, which is what we're going to shoot for. So the GT710, just to recap real fast, got us like, oh crap, I gotta put this thing in here. So in Rocket League, the GT710 got us 20 frames a second at 1080p. That was 1080p medium settings, 20 frames a second. I could have cranked that down to 720p and low settings and probably gotten playable frame rates. But why do that? And the other game I tried to play, man, I'm old. I can't even remember what I live streamed last week, and I didn't review my last week's live stream to see what the games I chose were. Yeah, no idea. I remember Rocket League. I don't remember what the second game I tried to get into. Oh, F1 2019 maybe? Did I run F1 2019? Yeah, at 720p low. Is there anybody even on my stream? Is there anybody watching? Is there anybody out there? Let me see if I can get to my own stream here. It says one person's watching. Oh, mute myself. There's Dead Sniper. Iron's on. Hey, what's up, man? So, yeah, we got the 770 in here. We got it hooked up. Iron, do you remember what game I played? I tried to play on the GT710 from last stream. Because I don't. Let's get that in there. And let's get I haven't gone into the BIOS to see if I can turn off the the boot when powered option. It's on my to-do list, but I remember that it does it, so I'm going to get everything hooked up before I plug the power in on this bad boy, because I know it's going to just go straight turning on as soon as I plug the power in. Okay, quick sanity check. We got hard drive connected, GPU connected, RAM is inserted. Give it a good just little push. CPU cooler's paste is refreshed. All right, let's do 3, 2, 1. Contact. Hey, there it went. Will it boot? We got a post. Good sign. Oh, CPU fan failure. Ah, yeah. So I didn't double check everything I should have double checked, but that's okay. Dell's motherboard BIOS has my back. Told me, hey dummy, you gotta plug that fan in. So I've actually worked with motherboards that didn't have, any kind of like warning or anything, and forgotten to plug the CPU fan in. And been like, why is my CPU so hot? Because the fans aren't turning. All right. Got another post. Yes, booting into Windows. Yeah, you remember Rocket League only? Yeah, me too, man. I know there was another one that was better than Rocket League because I turned it down to 720p. 720p low. But this one, I want to see. Let's get into Rocket League real fast and see what we get at 1080p. Because that should be fun. What was that other game? Was it CSGO? I don't remember. I don't recall. Somebody go watch my old live stream and fast forward to like an hour in. That's about how long it took me to start actually using the PC. Hard drive issues. Oh, it's still got a pretty long boot. So in that last live stream, I tried just upgrading to a 4x2 kit of RAM that had tighter timings. And it seemed to like make it boot faster. But it's not the case this time. I should have gone into BIOS and dorked around some more with the timings and the RAM configuration, but I don't recall seeing the ability to change. I did go into BIOS like a few days ago just to kind of poke around, and it's like super basic. And I don't recall seeing any capacity to change any kind of RAM timing or speed settings. But as we've just seen with me trying to remember what game I played, it was F1. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. So I think F1 at 20 frames a second, we did get like 60 FPS or so. Yeah, we got 60 frames a second at 720p low settings on F1. I'm almost positive we got over 60, which wasn't like a terrible experience. And I was like actually kind of shocked that this could actually do like 720p gaming. So this obviously is, now mine to join the graveyard over there. Not the graveyard, but the collection, the boneyard. And maybe I'll stick it on a test rig with like a 9900K, and we'll just see what it does. Let's get we'll just do this real fast. So Steam should be up to date. Not now, Xbox. So let's go ahead and do let's do some Rocket League. So it got to update again. I swear I've had this computer on for like hours at a time trying to do updates on every game so that I could start a stream and actually launch a game, and it would just like, whoop, here you go. Let's play this game. 5 minutes. Let's check on temps. Let's look at hardware info 64. Yes. Run. So core temps are actually kind of high, like 48 degrees. What are we doing right now? Are we like fully loaded on the cores? No. Well, that's interesting. Why are the core temps so high? I can hear something pulsing in there. This NVIDIA control panel recognized the GTX 770. Anybody gonna purchase Humankind? Closed beta. Free now. Hell is other demons. Alright, looks like it's actually in there. Let's go ahead and manage 3D settings. I always like to go in and prefer max performance. Okay, that's good. It's in there. So let's man, while this is downloading, I mean, I know it's like putting some stress on the GPU or the CPU. Yeah, we're getting core residencies in like the 30 to 20% range. And GPU's at 48. I do not have MSI Afterburner on. Let's go that route. Let's see. Got a fan curve. Let's do. As I said, we're at 41. We're at 49 degrees, and it says we're at 41%, which is strange. So we might need the paste to kind of settle in some too. Might need to heat cycle it some. Oh yeah, it's back down now. What are we at? No, we're at 49 on the package. Where did I just see that? Oh, that's the motherboard. Yeah, 43 to 49 on the package. But it does load up some stuff when you're installing and downloading. That can actually put surprising amount of stress on the CPU, or just like utilization, right? Which can definitely build up some heat. So we're getting the max we've seen on Core 0 is 57. Again, though, the core to core temperature range is really tight. 7 degrees core to core. Core 3 has a max temperature we've seen so far of 50, and Core 0 is a 57. And the average temperature since boot up, or since I started Hardware Info, is only 5 degrees apart, which is like, that's nuts. That's like 2 hours. What are we doing, guy? All right. Steam, you got me messed up. Why? Oh, it's so laggy. $13 to download Rocket League? Like what is happening? We're gonna pause that, and we'll revisit this maybe on a separate stream. I just want to see what Cinebench R23 is going to get these core temps up to. And then we'll have to come back and see how he did on another stream with the GTX 770, because evidently I need to let this CPU or PC sit here for like another 14 hours and download Rocket League. Steam randomly loses games. It's just fantastic. Yeah, evidently that is what happened here. Close that. Why did Cinebench just die? I know, it's just laggy. Probably needs a reboot, or maybe it's downloading Windows updates. I should have those turned off, actually. I know I have those turned off. Here it goes. Cinebench R23. And this is not a performance benchmark. I'm not using this to see like how fast this CPU is. We know it's like terribly slow. But I just want to see what the temperatures get to. So let's start multi-core workload. So the last time on the first run, it got a high a maximum core temp of 78C, which I felt was just like a little too high for a quad core that shouldn't be pulling, more than 80 watts. Like, and that's 80 watts during turbo. Like once the turbo expires, it goes down to like 65. And maybe it just is this crap cooler. Maybe it just needs a better cooler. So yeah, right now package power is 68 watts. That's with turbo, actually. And we're up to 61 degrees, 63. And we may need to I may need to power cycle this a few times to get the thermal paste to kind of like settle and get to all the gaps and get a nice even seat. But Let's see how far we rise. And maybe I'm just cooler limited. Maybe 75 is just what this cooler's going to get. If you direct it back to where it's downloaded, it rediscovers the files and fixes it though. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. I paused all the downloads right now. I have to do that separately. Well, let's just see if at least we got like an improvement on our core temps by changing that like super dead, dry, crusty thermal paste. And it looks like we're gonna top out. I don't want to speak too soon, but it started to stabilize at about 69 degrees Celsius on core 1. Oh, 70, it did tick up. I don't know if there's a, like I said, the BIOS on this thing is like super painfully minimalistic. So I don't think there's any kind of fan profile setting that I can change to get that fan to spin up any higher. Oh, one upgrade that I did do off camera, I guess, or before the stream, is I did change out this, the old Dell 92 millimeter fan with a Noctua 1600 RPM Redux, and it definitely, I mean, I don't have any fancy measurement equipment, but just holding your hand up here with this thing going, like, you could barely feel a whisper of air going past your fingers, right? I had to actually put my cheek up to it to see if I could feel it on my cheek hair, since that's like, you know, a little bit more sensitive area. And this thing, you can just hold your hand up, and so the air velocity at least is much higher with this fan. I don't, you know, whether that equates into more CFM, it probably does. So right, we're at a peak of 72 right now, so that's still 6 degrees below what we got to last time, unless it keeps rising. So 6 degrees off max core temp is not anything to sneeze at. Just from some cheap thermal paste, like this GD900 stuff from eBay is great. You get a giant, for me, since I repaste stuff like constantly all the time, I'm doing CPUs, GPUs, you name it. This stuff's like $9 for this giant syringe of it. So I got 2 of them for 20 bucks shipped. And yeah, it's great. I mean, it works really as good as anything else on the market. So yeah, it looks like 72. We're going to cap out. We're almost done here. So we'll call that a win. 62 or 72 degree max core temp, running Cinebench R23. Got to the end of the run and didn't go over 72. And I did run it with the panel off last time. So that was 5 minutes and 44 seconds of running Cinebench, and we got a max core temp of 72. And last time I did that, I got a max core temp of 78. So that is awesome. So let's just check out F1 2019 here. I'm going to close that. Hopefully Microsoft knows where it saved that game. And we could probably like play Fortnite or something too. I didn't even give Fortnite a try with the GT710. I mean, 1 gig of DDR3 was probably just not going to be viable. Not going to be viable. What a teeny little guy. It's just a little guy. You got to be careful with that super cheap stuff. If you're using like this, you know, doesn't have a copper cold plate, it's aluminum. I have had some issues with pitting. So in the chat, you know, we got super cheap tubs of of thermal paste. I have had cheap thermal paste pit aluminum. Kind of like what's the stuff? Liquid metal. You know, liquid metal is like is a no-go if you have a all aluminum cooler. I've had like some weird discoloration and pitting on all aluminum coolers using super cheap tubs of thermal paste. So I went with this. I mean, $9 for just how many grams is this? 30 grams, I want to say. Yeah, 30 grams. $9 for 30 grams is not bad at all. I should turn the sound off or down. Yeah, it's at 100. How about that? How about no 100 sound? All right, so let's see what we got here. Settings, graphic options. Sorry I don't have you guys like on screen capture. I'm just doing this super fast. So advanced setup. So this is already gone to detail, like it's auto done, auto detected high settings. And we are at, wait, did it show me? Yeah, 1080p. So we're at 1080p. It's showing a this is a 74 hertz, 75 hertz technically, well, according to its own spec monitor. So we're going to do benchmark mode. We're going to do heavy rain. We're just going to do one lap and see what it looks like. You got 50 coolers. I don't know how many I got up there. I probably only got about 10 on hand. I only keep a couple around. 10 stock cheap coolers that don't have copper base plates. Some of them actually do, like some of the older AMD AM4 or AM3 coolers. The stock ones came with a copper what do you call that? Copper slug for the vapor chamber. So frame time looks weird right now. It's like a weird, like, chunky line. It's like constantly twittering back and forth. But it's 10, 13, 11. It's not bad. How long? So we went from 60 frames a second at 720p low to 60 frames a second at 1080p high. That GTX 770, like I said on the last stream, was free to me. I did some work for somebody. They paid me to replace their graphics card, and that was the old graphics card. So they let me have it just as a tip, I guess. So I took it. I spent about $20 on fans from eBay to replace, because almost all the fans, 2 of the fans were totally dead, and the last fan was dying. So that $20, cleaned it up, repasted it, changed the thermal pads. So let's call it $25 in materials for that graphics card, and that allowed one entire resolution bump plus 2 tiers of graphics quality on this one game. This is like, one game, but yeah, that looks great. That looks awesome. It's a really smooth line. I mean, we got some jitter in here, but it's not like crazy spikes, and this is like worst case scenario, right? For this setup, it's heavy rain, so it's stressing the CPU and the GPU. We got 99% CPU utilization through that corner there, and 99% GPU utilization. So the CPU is mostly hanging out at about 60 to 70. I guess it depends on, since we're doing the cycling camera angles, some of the camera angles work that CPU way harder. Yeah, this one right here seems to work the CPU a lot harder. but it's still keeping this GPU at full chat, 98, 99% utilization. So that's good. We're getting like that 50% range of CPU utilization is actually like really, that's, I like that. I like seeing that. That means that we found like the good sweet spot for that one game, right? Where you're seeing like 50 to 60 on your CPU and 100% on your GPU. It's like a balanced system that these two components like actually work well together. So we had a minimum frame of 52, average of 64, and a high of 71. That's actually a really tight spread too, from min to max is less than 20 FPS. That's awesome. I'm super happy with that. Yeah. Okay, so guys, it's a Friday. I got stuff to do. I'm sure you've got stuff to do, but I just wanted to get on here. I haven't been on YouTube a lot lately. I just wanted to do a quick speed run of, trying to, maybe, it's almost like a video log almost at this point of this Dell XPS that I got on eBay, or not eBay, Craigslist, super cheap. Yeah, so we're going to keep working on it. So I think the next thing I'm going to work on, well, I want to do a more comprehensive overview of what the performance is with this setup in more games. But like I said, I need to go in and get Steam to recognize where more of these games are downloaded. So that'll probably be in an upcoming stream, and I'll have it hooked in so you guys can see the the screen capture of the game, and we'll go through and play some Rocket League. We'll play some Fortnite. Well, we'll look at Rainbow Six Siege probably, and CS:GO. Throw some Grand Theft Auto at it. We'll just go. We'll just play around and see how this thing does. I am gonna put the so I do want to get it to where it's stable and the temps aren't out of control with this side panel on. The side panel does have some airflow allowances for the GPU, which is nice. But this case is definitely airflow limited. It's got one 92 millimeter exhaust fan. That's it. There's no intake fan whatsoever. It does have a fairly big intake area in the bottom and the front. So next round of upgrades is going to be probably taking this all apart actually and doing some case mod action. We're going to get rid of the hard drive tray, and I'm going to mod the front of the case to accept either 120 and 140 millimeter fan as an intake, so that we get some actual like push pull action going on here. And that fan will be mounted nice and low, and it's going to feed a bunch of fresh air into this hot and ready, a little Caesar's hot and ready GPU down here. So come back, hopefully you catch me on the next stream. I'm going to try to keep these shorter instead of like doing like massive 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour streams. Just eats up too much of my day, and I don't expect anybody to watch me ramble about computers for 4 hours either. So yeah, this has been Solid State Alchemy. I'm Mike. Like and subscribe so you get that notification when I go live if you want to watch me putter around in my basement in the underbelly of the YouTube algorithm, just doing dumb stuff with computers mostly. All right, I'm out.